a very happy laughter day to each one of you. Keep laughing, keep smiling, and this difficult phase will quickly pass. So today let us start with the second part of the chapter that we started yesterday. 2 stories about flying. We did the first part yesterday, his first flight, and today we'll do the black aeroplane. Both the stories are about courage and taking risks. And history is evidence. The people who take risks are the courageous and the brave people. And yesterday this courage was shown by the seagull, and today we will see about this chapter, the black aeroplane. Alright, so this story is written by Frederick Forsyth, and this person is alive today also. Alright, and he is a great author. He is a journalist. He writes for newspapers. And when he was young, he also was a spy. He worked as a spy, and he was also a political commentator. So we don't have to go much into the detail, but still, the person who has written such wonderful stories, we should know a little about such people. Alright, so moving on to the story, The Black Aeroplane. It was night time. The sky was clear, and our pilot, our narrator is the pilot, and he is traveling back home. He is going home. His home is in England, and he was here in Paris for quite some time, and he is going for a long holiday, getting reunited with his family, and he is, dreaming to reach back and be with his family and spend a nice holiday with them. So it is at around 1:30 when he sees that everything in the plane was perfect and the weather was clear. It was a starry night. Everything was very clear. And because if you have to fly, you have to go by a plane, an aircraft, you have to check the weather thing. So he saw that everything was very clear, the skies were clear, and he started his journey back to his home. Now, when he, started, it was a clear night, and he could see from his plane, he was traveling in his Dakota. Dakota is the name of his aircraft. Alright, and its name was DS-088. Every plane has got a number and all. So he was traveling, and he says that as he started his journey, it was dusk time, because he said that the moon was rising behind me at the east. So if he was traveling towards a direction, so that must be west, because if you're traveling towards west, then your back behind you will be east direction, and the moon was rising from there. Everything was clear, nice weather, and he was traveling towards the west when the moon came out. So it must have been the dusk time. Dusk is the time when the sun goes down and the moon rises. And in the morning, when the moon goes down and the sun rises, that is dawn, D-A-W-N. Alright, so it was dusk time, and he was traveling, and he was moving from Paris. He was going, so he had to cross the whole of France, and then he had to go to England. So when he was about to reach the borders, he thought he should inform the control room that he was the one who was crossing. But you have to keep informing who is traveling. Everybody, the control room at the bottom should know. So he, using his radio system, he called the control room. The lady picked up, and he said, if you could hear, he was on this plane DS-088, and he said that he was moving towards England. So and whenever they talk on this radio, they tell their message and then they say over. So that means the message has been completed. So then she also talked back, and she said, all right, she knows that he is traveling, and she gave him directions to move a little towards 12 degrees west. These aeroplanes on the aircrafts, all these pilots, they don't have roads or any directions. No, they work based on the system of the compass. They have the compass, and according to the direction they go, they have their maps and all, and they work according to that. Plus the people at the control room, they keep seeing where the plane is going, and if they find anything is wrong, they inform the pilot. So this lady, she tells him that he should go a little towards 12 degrees west. So he does as he was guided. He turned towards the 12 degrees west his plane, and also he switched on his second and the last fuel tank. He was having 2, that was enough to reach his reach England. So he switched on the other tank also, and he was sure that by the time this tank was enough, the fuel in that tank was enough to reach home. And he was very happy that now he was moving out of the borders of Paris, and he would quickly reach his home. He'll be home by for the morning breakfast, and good nice English breakfast. He was dreaming for that. He was waiting to meet his family and spend a nice long holiday. This was a great motivation in him, and he kept moving forward. But suddenly what happened? He saw that a big mountain of black clouds, the stormy clouds, just appeared in front of him. He was shocked, scared. What to do? And quickly, you have to use your presence of mind. What to do, how to act, where to go, whether to go back to Paris, how to face these clouds, or go round these clouds, or go from the north direction or the south direction, how to travel, what to do. And he knew that this was the last fuel tank that he had switched on, and there was not much fuel in it. How could he go back or, change directions? It would take a longer time and more of fuel. But he thought of taking the risk. He did not have any other option. And the people who take risk are, I told you, they are the most courageous and the brave people. He had no other option. So he just went through those clouds. And suddenly there was turbulence. There was a lot of disturbance in his airplane. It started moving up and down, and quickly he turned to look at the compass to see the direction. And what he sees, that the needle of the compass started going round and round without showing any particular direction. That means it stopped working. Now what to do? He thought of contacting the lady at the control room. He looked at his radio system, but that also had stopped working, and he saw the whole machinery one by one, each and every part was not working. They were malfunctioning, and he did not know what to do. He knew he had the last fuel tank. It would not last for much time, and there was so much of turbulence. His aircraft was moving up and down, and he knew any time this Dakota, his plane, would crash and he would be a dead man. He did not know what to do. And, the thoughts at that time, they were so disturbing. All he was till now thinking about was a long holiday, was reunion with his family after such a long time, and the good, English breakfast he was dreaming of. And now everything was almost shattered. Any time his plane could crash. But suddenly something happened. Suddenly he saw an aeroplane from nowhere just came, parallel to his own plane. Till now there was no other person. He had not seen any other plane. Suddenly in these black clouds he could see a plane, and it was a plane that had no lights. Usually when the aircraft is flying, the wings have got lights and the body in between, the windows and all have got lights. So there are lights. Even when we see an aeroplane from here, we can see few lights. So but this plane that appeared suddenly just beside him, it had no lights at all. That is why we call this the black aeroplane, because it was absolutely dark, clouds were dark, just this aeroplane came without any light. But our narrator could see the pilot sitting in that, and the pilot was gesturing him to follow him. And our narrator, our pilot, had no other option. And suddenly that plane, it went towards the north and started going in front of our Dakota plane, the pilot's plane. And so, like an obedient child, our narrator started following that plane and was in such, thoughts that where they were going, how long it would take, because he did not have fuel, and he knew that the fuel lasted only for 5 to 10 minutes, and what would happen. All right, that person was helping him, but he did not know that my machinery was not working. I did not have so much fuel, and he was just in great thoughts, that suddenly he saw the other plane going down. So he also looked down and he could see the lighted runway. Runway where your plane, comes, lands, and then goes running and then stops. So there are lights on both the sides, and so he saw that the other plane came down. He also moved down, and suddenly he saw that it was only he who was there. He turned around to see where the other plane was, but he could not see the black aeroplane. Where had it disappeared? So he thought that I was in such great trouble. I did not know where to go. My compass was not working. My radio system was not working. All the machinery in my plane was malfunctioning. Nothing was working. And this plane, out of nowhere, it came and saved me, showed me the direction, took me here in just no time. But it suddenly disappeared. So he wanted to thank this man. He said, now after landing, I'll walk straight to the control room, because because this pilot was expecting himself to be a dead man. He knew that his plane would crash. But suddenly this savior had come and saved him. So he wanted to thank. So he thought of going to the control room. He landed. He went straight. He walked straight quickly to the control room to ask the lady where that plane was. So when he went, that lady, and he asked to the control room, he asked the lady sitting there that where is that person? Where is the other plane? And but she was shocked. She made a strange face, because she said that she had not detected any other plane on her radar. This radar is a detecting system. By the control room, people have got this to detect which plane is traveling, which plane is coming to which direction, how many planes are there on the same way, so they are able to talk to that person, which plane has to land first, the other has to wait or just hover around a particular area. So this is all done by the radar system. So she said that there was no other plane. I just saw your plane coming towards this direction. There was no other plane. So this left our pilot into a great mystery. I told you this story has got a mysterious end. So where did that plane go? Who was the pilot sitting who was gesturing him to follow? Was it God? Where did it go? Why didn't he come in front? Why didn't he meet him after landing if he was an actual man? Or was it because this man had such a great faith in God that he saw the other plane? Maybe there was no plane. He imagined, maybe. Or maybe there was God who came to save him, to bring him out of the black clouds. So this story still remains a mystery. We don't know who was there in the black plane, whether black aeroplane was there or not, or he was just imagining because he had such great faith in God that he imagined God had come to save him. This story has got a mysterious end, and we don't have a clue to it as to what it was. But there are times when you will also feel that God has helped you. Maybe out of faith we feel so, but there are times when we feel so. Alright, so this was our story. Let us quickly give a quick revision. So I told you this was written by Frederick Forsyth, and he writes about this pilot who was on a Dakota plane and he was moving towards west from France. He was going to England to meet his family, to have a nice English breakfast. So these were the two motivating things: to meet his family, have a long holiday with them, and the big English breakfast. So he was motivated to reach quickly to his home. All right, so it was around 1:30 a.m. when he started his journey. Everything was very clear. He could see the beautiful lights of Paris. Everything was lighted. Everything looked very nice. And he talked to the lady at the radio using his radio system to inform that he was crossing this border. So she guided him and she told him to move towards 12 degrees west. He did so and he went on. He switched on his last fuel tank. He had two. He switched on the second and the last one and quickly moved towards England. And he knew that he would reach there by the breakfast time. Alright, but suddenly the mountain of black storm clouds appeared in front of him and he had no other option. He did not have much of fuel to go round the clouds or go from the north direction or the south direction. Plus he also had thoughts of going back to Paris, which was 150 kilometers away, but he wanted to meet his family. That was the great desire in him, and to have the good breakfast and a long holiday with the family. So that motivated him and he went through the clouds, but the aeroplane started jumping, twisting. There was a lot of turbulence and disturbance. He looked at the compass had stopped working, radio system had stopped working, all the machinery part was malfunctioning, and so everything had stopped. But suddenly this black aeroplane appeared and the pilot in that gestured him. There were no lights in the plane, there was nothing could be seen, only this plane came and gestured him to follow him, and our pilot, like an obedient child, followed and was out of these clouds after some time and landed safely at his runway. Alright, but when he landed there and turned around to see where the other aeroplane was, that mysterious aeroplane had disappeared. So that is why we said that the story had a mysterious ending. Alright, and quickly we'll see what the themes are. Faith in God. Maybe it was faith in God. That is why he took the risk of going through the clouds. He was courageous, yes. He had great motivation to meet his family, to have a long holiday with them. He had been waiting for quite some time to go and meet his family, and now was the time, and to have good food there at breakfast. And because he was brave and courageous, so he had the ability to take risk. And the people who take risks, we have evidences in the history also, they are the people who succeed in life. One has to take risk. You can't sit and say things will come on your own. You have to take risk. You have to be your own mentor. You have to be your own leader. Take risks. Take different, just don't be a follower. Take risks, succeed in life. Be courageous, be successful. Alright, so here this is a mystery. We don't have any clue. Maybe it was because his excessive faith in God that he saw that aeroplane. Or maybe there was an aeroplane. Maybe God really came to save him. Go through the chapter. You'll like reading it. It's very simple. I have not left anything. I have mentioned everything. You have any problem, please put it in the comment section. Even I have mentioned my email ID. You can put your queries there. I will surely cater to that and solve your problems. And yes, if you have not subscribed my channel, please do it today. Keep laughing, keep smiling, enjoy your life. Thank you. Goodbye.